I forgot he even went to whistle. I'm so immersed in everything else he's doing, I forgot that's his thing. Good morning, Johnny. Welcome to the Throga channel.
It's great to be here, as always, Richard.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having each other.
I'm going to bring something to light. You called me this morning and you said you were concerned about your eye. You have a little, you got a little sty action going on.
Yeah. It's better now. I woke up this morning, I was like...
Well, when you told me, it doesn't look too bad. I had flashbacks to Vegas. Do you remember back in, oh my God, we were working with an artist. I want to say this was like 2008. We were in Vegas. We were doing some production.
So we're East Coast, so we travel all the way to the West Coast.
Yes.
And I don't know what I ate on the plane, but we got off and we're in the grocery store, and my face was so puffed up and so dehydrated.
I swear to you, I didn't recognize my best friend in the world. Would never pick you out in a lineup. It was
That's
so
weird
slow.
how that. Yeah, it's weird how that could happen.
Anyway,
so definitely better today than that.
Not too bad. I think we're good. We're good.
But still, I almost canceled today because I felt like.
And you would have regretted it because we are listening to Gabriel Henrique, and he's going to put a smile on our face. His voice is amazing. We've only done one song so far, Earth Song.
Yeah. But we've been getting a lot of comments for him, and a lot of like newer songs that he's done. But we kind of, what we're thinking is we want to start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. Let's start from the very beginning. Why do I always have that look on my face when I do? Let's start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. And then I start getting a little English accent, but
I like it. I approve. So so he started putting up videos about 5 years ago. So we went to the most requested song from that time period, which is I Have Nothing, which you may or may not know was sung by Whitney Houston, if you're familiar with that name.
I've never heard of that person, no.
And she, of course, sets the standard crazy high. I'm not concerned at all whether or not he's going to execute. I'm just excited to hear what his interpretation is of this song.
I love that he tackles like the giants. He's just going.
He's not afraid.
And before we get started, as always, make sure to hit like and subscribe and ring the bell so you always know what we are up to.
Please do, and also check out the description below where you can get a free vocal assessment to learn more about the strengths and weaknesses within your own voice if you are a singer or just curious about your voice. And you can also learn about singing and songwriting lessons with Johnny and myself. All right, enough of the boring stuff. Let's go.
All right. I think this is in the same key as the original.
Of course it is.
G.
Share my life, take me for all I am, 'cause I never taste all my colors for you.
I love the choices. Yeah, he's just great.
I honestly... Go ahead, please.
You go. No, you go. No, I love just his choices. Like as far as like, okay, I'm going to start head voice, but like in the same range. He's like, I'm gonna put a chest voice tone in there just because he can.
That playfulness back and forth between the registers. I actually thought he was going to start an octave under and then maybe build up. I
had a feeling he was going to start in the.
I should have known better, but really, what that comes from is the majority of singers. Male singers that I work with that would have done the song would have started an octave under and then taken some risks up, kind of thing. But
yeah, I figured he would start head voice, and then he goes the take. He like does that chest voice. That surprised me a little bit,
which I thought was going to be.
I shouldn't be surprised.
It's almost like he's foreshadowing like what's coming, which is great.
Yeah.
Take my love, I never ask for too much. Just all that you are, with everything that you do. I don't really need to look very much farther. I don't wanna have to go where you don't follow. I don't hold her back again. That's special inside. Can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hold. We don't make love for mother.
Wow.
I don't wanna hurt anymore. Stay my own.
Okay.
If you there, I must stay there. Seen you there. Don't walk away from me. I have nothing if I don't have you.
Should we pause there? Wow. Okay.
You know what's interesting? I don't think he's warmed up. I could
Okay.
when he's belting, when he's going into the chest voice range, you could hear a little bit of like it's almost like a mucus rattle. It's not a grit. He's not trying to like add a distortion mixed in with it. It's just a response to that much air pressure. He's doing this not fully warmed up. He's treating this song as if it's a warm-up. You can also tell because his transitions between head voice and chest voice isn't quite as delicate as we heard him do earlier. Now, this was 5 years ago, and I'm sure he's grown and gotten better. I'm not saying that can't be an influence. But I don't think he's warmed up, which is a really scary thing.
Do you feel like
take
that's a
on
common
song
thing
like this.
with like freaks of nature like him that are so just naturally gifted that they've just grown up like always being able to do that? You know, I don't want to diminish like the work that he's put into his craft as well, but I feel like some of the more talented singers that I've met, they'll just wake up, they'll just like have a milkshake and they'll just sing beautifully. You know, some of them will smoke a cigarette. You know,
Yes.
like
Well, you know, and there's danger in that, of course, because they take it for granted. You know, you've got your artists like, you know, Mariah Carey and Aguilera, things like that. And if they don't maintain their voice, if they don't warm up, if they don't do the things to take care of their instrument, then it does play out in time as a negative impact, which we've seen in several.
Whitney actually smoked.
Yeah,
That's
so she
kinda-
definitely did. Whitney over-experimented with a lot of abusive things, obviously, which is really unfortunate. But Whitney also grew up in the church singing. I mean, she put in thousands of hours developing her voice from the time she was just a kid. So she definitely had skill, but also crafted it. There's no question that Gabriel has spent thousands of hours exploring and playing and experimenting. Yes, he has natural skill, to your point, but he's also definitely put in the time to get this good.
Like just in terms of not warming up, like some of these guys, they're just like, you know.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney he didn't warm up until he was like 60 something. He's just like,
oh, maybe
maybe I should start warming up before shows.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just crazy. I bet you by the end of the song, we're going to hear some of that a little bit more clear tone. Like you can hear it fade away. He's using Whitney to warm his voice up, which is frightening.
Yes, her key, her original key,
Her
I think.
original key, yes.
I haven't listened to it in a while, but it sounds pretty close.
That is his basis to, you know, loosen up.
Yes.
You see it flew right to the heart of me.
Little Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
When the strength of your love. No, I never knew love like tonight with lose.
Oh my God.
Never we survive. All I can hold to.
All right, can we stop it there for a second?
Yeah.
I don't really need to look.
I just want to comment on those like quick runs. I mean, that was a head voice, like his ability to do fast runs while pushing. We've talked about this before in other videos, but that's such an amazing skill to me to have that much force, but still have all the intricacies,
The
and like
agility.
the agility. Yeah, like how do you train for that? I feel like is that totally like a mental thing, and it's like, do you feel like he's manipulating his voice to do something, or it's just he's just so in tune and connected with?
I think
like
you can definitely develop those skills, but the ones that tend to execute pretty effortlessly, like Gabriel at multiple volumes, immersed themselves with those riffs, with those runs, exploring, playing, and being fearless with it for years. So if you grew up listening to Whitney, Stevie Wonder, Mariah, influences like that, and just playing with your voice all the time, having a natural ear to like identify the pitch and match it, it just develops over time. But for others, you have to, like, for myself included, I have to go to the keyboard and break down, like, okay, all right, so I have to like figure it out with my fingers, work with it with my voice, do some exercises, and then I can build myself up to execute it for a certain number of predictable takes. Because it's just work for me. It's not something that was intuitive. So it can be developed, but to execute, I mean, he's just throwing these things out, these decorations, so effortlessly because he's done them so many times over a course of many years, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've worked with other singers that have that sort of a similar ability too, and they, it's so funny because they don't know how to do it.
They're just
they couldn't tell you how they do it. Yeah, they just do it.
All I can hold on to, I don't really need to look very much farther. I do what I have to go where you don't follow. I hold back again. This passion inside can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hold. You'll remember forever. Don't make me love one mother. I don't wanna hold anymore. Stay my arms if you there. I'm not staying there. Seen you there. Don't walk away from me. No, I have nothing. Don't take me close, one mother. I don't wanna hold anymore.
What was that?
It's an E flat, so it's E
And that
flat
was
5.
That was a belt. There was like just the right amount of push and just projection of the frequencies that gives it a level of intensity. You could still hear the folds are still not quite as loose and responsive, that little edge. But at this point in the song, he's putting extra air pressure. So it's not like that lack of warm up I was talking about earlier. Now it's a drive. It's like purposely turning up like the gain on the guitar to give it like a little extra edge. So it's a little different than what he was doing earlier in the song, and it sounds great.
Yeah, and it seems like at least at this point in his singing career, it's like so that E flat might be the top, maybe that E above it, because he's avoiding the. So in the original key. So instead, he's not going to that. Like as far as his chest voice, I think it ends at around E flat E. So it'd be interesting, like as he's progressed. I don't know how old he is in this. But maybe he's gained accessibility to that.
I believe he has, because if you think about what he did with Earth Song and where he was blending a little bit, he was definitely moving up in that space. So that could be either a choice based on how his instrument was responding in the moment of when he recorded this, because it's just like just a single take through, or it's truly a progression in terms of his skill, like you're saying. That I'm not sure of. I forgot he even went to whistle. I'm so immersed in everything else he's doing. I forgot that's like
it's coming back to me now. Yeah, I remember the first time we heard the whistle in Earth. I was like,
all right, hold on.
are you.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Absolutely
Amazing.
fantastic. You know, it's what's so great about this is if we saw this song first, we would have been in awe, right? Just because he deserves that kind of praise and awareness. This is kind of like the start of his, I think, awareness online or whatever, right?
Probably, yeah.
Right around that time.
That's a good song to gain attention because people just be like, okay, let's see you massacre
Let's see you
this song.
try this. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then
I
he
would
nails
love to hear him do this song now. I bet you there's just more finesse, more trust with his instrument, his timing, all that, all those elements that make a great singer even greater is through that type of experience and time.
And just natural maturation in the voice too, because I'm guessing he's in his 20s here, probably mid 20s. I don't know. I don't want to guess.
I'm
Actually,
not sure.
in the comments, let us know how old he is in this
Yeah.
video, and this is 5 years ago. And I remember you telling me that like the male voice actually like peaks at around what, mid 30s or something.
Very often, like the physical maturity is going to be in the 20s, mid to late 20s. The shape and size of the larynx is defined even younger than that. But it's that wisdom, life experience of singing mixed with that stable, consistent, genetic aspect of the voice tends to be at its best in those mid 30s. What's cool is a lot of singers, we were talking about earlier about how they might take their voice for granted or whatever. He didn't just settle for this skill set, which is more than enough to have a career as a singer. He kept getting better, which we heard in Earth Song. So he obviously has a drive to improve and excel at what he does. So his passion is very sincere. And you could hear that in his execution over the course of time. So
yeah. Well, I like this approach though. That watching the recent one first, and coming back to the beginning. It's kind of like Pulp Fiction. You watch the end first, and then the rest of the movie is just building up to the end again.
Yes,
it's exactly like Pulp Fiction.
It's exactly like the movie. Another example from the one that you're wearing in your shirt that I have not happily gotten through.
You should try The Big Lebowski again. But you've seen Pulp Fiction.
I don't. I know I saw it. I don't remember caring for it.
You gotta give these another try because they're very nuanced and layered. And I
love Jeff Bridges, so I'm definitely going to give The Big Lebowski another shot here.
We watched it the first time together, and we both didn't like it. And now it's one of my top 10 movies, I would say.
Yeah. All right. I need to go back. Back to Gabriel.
Yes.
If you've watched this channel, you're
you know this happens.
It does. So he's awesome. We need to hear more. I would love to know what to listen to next. Actually, what I'd really like to hear is him singing in Portuguese because I love his accent. I've said that before, but it's very thick. And I'm curious to hear his singing in his first language, assuming it's Portuguese, he's in Brazil, where just the shape of the vowels and everything is even more intuitive for him. I'm curious to see how that plays out in his voice. So if there's a song we should check out in his native tongue, I would love to hear that as well.
So thank you guys. Thanks for that recommendation. And yeah, keep the comments coming, and we will see you soon.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.